Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. We're going to take things back to basics. And by that, as these folders, how good they are to actually make covers. I make my covers from these. These are so cheap. These are brand new actually, and I paid $4 for heaps of them. They're stacks. But anyway, I'm going to show you, first of all, before we make the cover, how we go about picking out our paper. So I've just got to remove a few things from here because we're not going to worry about the cover in just yet. We're going to worry about pages. Pages consist of, that's not pages, anything from a magazine, music, those pages, that, magazines, because we're going to go back to the basics of junk journaling. There's our music, there's our book I got from the thrift store. Another one that I've used the cover from. This is Daphne's diary. I use these quite a lot. It's just an old map book. It's a school one of the kids' ones, when they were little. I didn't throw it out. And these pages are even really good. So you can use the index pages. You can use any of the Henry Lawson ones. There's so much you can do. I got this one from the thrift store. It's actually brilliant. I utilise that a fair bit too. Now, is what to do with these pages is what's important. So I might keep a couple of pages out and we'll put this stuff out of the road and I'll show you how to set your pages up. Now, we're going to work off 10 pages and so we're working off 10 pages and we're going to be working off 10 tea coffee stain pages. That's what we're going to be working off. Now what I normally do, because I've got 10 of those, need 10 of those. So what I do with these music pages especially, I fold them like this. And then what I do, I fold them that way. And you see what I'm actually doing is creating a pocket. And then I fold it down. And I fold it down. I'll make sure they're even when they're not. So it means I've got to take this down a bit more. That's correct. And normally I have it going this way. So then I turn it around. It'd be good to have a bone folder. If you haven't got a bone folder, use the end of your scissors. That will, this one won't because it's not hard enough. So I don't know where my bone folder is, but I did have it. But it doesn't matter, I'll use my fingers because I'm used to doing that. And I normally keep that for a centre page. Then if I want to be a bit more creative, I get this paper like that. That can be used as a page. And what I do, I take it over. And guess what? I'm going to get my scissors And I am going to create oops, it took too much. So I've got to take a bit more. And I've created a tag. And that can be sewn around, all the way around. And that can be a tag page. I can create the same technique. This is nice paper, actually. So I can create the same technique as I did with the music page. Again, halve it, because you want to take it to the middle. And I'm going to show you these sewn, how they look. They look fantastic. So this page is actually from a book from a Daphne's diary. And you've created a page. You can cut that away. Or, actually, it's probably, you can leave it. But, see, I would sew all around that. First, I would sew that. Take it that way and sew all the way around. And you've created that. But I've already done my sewing on here. And I've picked out 10 pages of each, 10 book pages and all that. And what I've done some fancy sewing, as you can see. Here's my tag. Now I aim to put holes in these later. So I aim to punch holes out. I did that tag. I used coffee page to make that. See, I've got a tuck there and I've got a tuck in there. All I did there is, and I just need to get the sewing machine and sew down there. I'll do that later, or I can just stick it down, is I just folded a piece of paper on both sides. And I've got a tuck there. Let's see if there's some I can tuck in there. And there's your tuck. So that's a simple, easy technique. I actually want to around the corners. I don't know if that will go in though. Probably not. Probably not. So we don't worry about it. So I probably want it like that. So there. And I like sewing around my pages. You don't have to. I just reckon it looks better. Now all I do is get I sew in 5 pages I sew, 5 pages I don't. Because I might want to put lace there. So you'll see the ones I haven't sewn in. So I'm going to leave them out. But what I want to do is make sure that they are. And this is where you need your bone folder. It'd be good if I know where I put it. Okay. And then, here's the same pages. So we want to separate them. So there should be 5 sewn pages. Then you got your book pages. It's in my pockets. Book pages. Pages that aren't sewn. Because we've got to put it all together. So utilising those pages I showed you is what's going to get this journal happening. You can tea stain them. I am not going to. But you see how good the sewing looks? And in some I've sewed both ends, in some I haven't. So now it's a matter of getting it all together and putting the book together. And normally I will always start off with a coffee stained page or tea stained, whichever you like. And then I just start laying pages that I want. Now, what can we put next? Maybe that, and then a book page. So now we're going to go for a book page that's plain. There they are. And then what I would want to do is make sure they're even. And I really make sure that really press down. And open it up again. It's not really hard. We think it is, but it's not. Now, what I thought of doing before I do that is, where's my tags that I made? Oh, golly gosh, I've lost them. I made 2 lots. I'm sure I did. Here they are. So, I might like it there, actually. Okay. Then I'm going to get a sewn page. See how I'm just sort of getting my journal together? And this is what we do. We just fiddle around till we get the pages we like. Now that's going to have to come to the front. I'll tell you why. Because I did make it for the front of the journal. Otherwise, it's not going to sit nicely. So there you go. That will fit nicely now. Right. Now we're going to put a smaller page in. I think that should go in, but I'm going to put it to there because I like that, and it's got that there. And see how it blends in nicely with that? Might put that page in. Again, that blends in nicely. So I think we're putting in a total of 20 pages. And this is how to utilise your junk, you know, and you can actually utilise your junk really well this way. Sewing page. I want that for the centre. Oops. I've probably got more pages than I wanted. See how it's got I folded it in and it's got a pocket there? And that's creating really freely pockets. And I've got the sewing marks there, and there should be another page. Because I thought I'd sew it all up and get it ready. It makes for easier junk. Generally, there should be a plain page. Oh, here it is. So I'm thinking I'm going to take this one to somewhere here. I'm going to put that one in. And I'm going to put that one in because I really love the colours. And then I'm going to put that in. And you see what I've done? I've left, I didn't put the sewing page in there. And this has to be up a little bit. So there's our signature. Oh, we forgot to put this one in. So I'm thinking that can go up here. They aren't considered as pages, just as interesting stuff that you can put in your journals. So those fakey tags and these aren't considered as pages. They are, for me, extra pockets, right? I'm giving you a lot of my secrets away here. That's how I like to do my journals. And doesn't that look like a really good signature? So those tags on that aren't considered as signatures. Just pockets. That's how I consider them. Okay, so that's ready to go. And this is going to be hard to sew because of the way I've got it. Now, there's many ways of making covers. You can either... This is using paper napkins and this stuff. And you generally, what you do is you get, it's probably easier for you guys if you newbies to paint. Otherwise, you iron this on, but you need wax paper over this and underneath it, so the plastic doesn't melt everywhere. But I make these up for tags or for the insides of my journal. Tags. And they're all done with this glad wrap. I find that it's smoother. Like there's no... You don't have to Mod Podge. You don't have to do anything doing it this way. And look how much I produced. I produced this all in an hour one day. And plus heaps more. And then, like I said, I cut them up as for tags. So, a lot of times, I might use that as a journal cover. But I'm not going to for this instance. We'll do one day. I'm just showing you things that... using your napkins. Everybody has napkins. You can decoupage it on by using a link Lynn's gesso, clear gesso that she makes up to my video, and you'll be able to see how she attaches her napkins to board. Well, I don't think she shows that, but she shows you how to make the actual gesso that she uses to attach her napkins to boards. And look, this is all this is folders, just file folders. My favourite covers are file folders, and they're mainly fabric. I mainly use fabric. The inside I sometimes line with paper, either napkin or good old scrapbooking paper. So what we're going to do to make a cover for this, I'm going to show you how easy peasy it is. So we've got the centre of that, because we need the centre. And why I need the centre is because that's where it's going to be sewn. But normally what I do is I score. You'll see here I've already got a cover ready because I don't, oops. I don't aim to do a full cover because it will just take too long. But what I normally do is I'll just get my scoring tool. Now, I'm going to put this right in the centre of that score line there because normally I will score 1/8 of an inch. Oops, it's moving. But you'll see why I'm doing this. Because I want to sew on there, but I want my spine to be a bit wide. I like a wide spine. Now, if you haven't got a scoreboard, that's easily fixed. You use your ruler and one of these, and you'll be able to score. Now, I'll get the other side. Because I like a bit of, see what I've done? I like a bit of, I probably didn't score that properly, or did I? Yeah, I did. And then what I do, we'll put that down. We get our signature. And you see how it sits nicely in there? So obviously we need to take off an inch from that, half an inch. Half an inch of each side. Now, I will link up a video how I attach my covers. So this is all I need to take off is half an inch. Make sure they're even. So yeah. And that should leave me. Oh no, I need more taken off. I don't like that much space showing in my journals. A lot of people do. I don't. I like mine not to have that much. I like to leave 1/8 of an inch around, and no, that should be right. And that's quite fine. No, it's not, because that's a bit, and that's not right. This is crooked. So we need to get this evened out. I can normally tell if it's even. You can normally tell while lining it up. So see how it's packed in? And you've given your book a bit of a spine. And what I normally do, and this is easy peasy, I either glue on scrapbooking paper on the inside, or I put fabric. And normally I just use a glue stick. And I cut up around it. Glue it down with the glue stick, and it will stick, believe you me. So I'll show you what I do. Now, if you haven't got a sewing machine, you're going to have to use fabric glue to do this. So, I hope I wasn't too far from the camera, but it does happen with me. Glue stick. So this is all I do. I glue the whole board. And I've got a video that I'll link that I did the other day, but I frayed the edges. With this cover, I am not doing that. I don't want frayed edges. I want just a cover for my journal. And see how I'm really lavish with my glue stick? And the reason being is because I want this to adhere well to the fabric. And normally I iron it down. But I won't be doing that because I've already got a cover ready. I just want to show you how you finish. I just want to see if that's going to... I don't like wasting. So you'll notice I will try and make my fabric work to suit me. No, it's not going to. So what we're going to do is going to take it from there. And we're going to lay it. And what I'll do is I try and get it. This is gorgeous fabric. But look, there's a rusty mark, but I'm not worried about it. You know why? Because this is old. And it's crooked, so it's not going to matter. It's vintage fabric. It's probably, I don't know, about 60 years old. It could be older. So once I've ironed that down, that would have stuck down. And before I do anything else, I normally trim as close to the board as possible, because I want to be able to lay another piece of fabric on the top of that. And then sew again. I mean, we trim again. Not the pink, because the pink's trimmed, but the new piece of fabric. I hope I'm explaining myself correctly. This is the way I do my covers. It's the best way I know. You can just do a fold over, but I believe scoring at a 1/2 inch gives you that bit of, I don't know, just gives you more room in your journal. Like having that extra in your cover, it just gives you that more room. So I'm not going to glue another piece of cloth because we would have to ink this and I won't be able to do all that and get it done in one session. But once it's so I would open that up and drag the fabric because the fabric's curled up. That's why it needs to be ironed. And it's just got to come back this way. Because like I said, it's vintage fabric, but it needs ironing down. But I'll show you the completed cover to that. Now over this, I would either put a scrapbooking paper, except it's not going to be long enough, which I would get 2 of these, or I would cut that there, and I'd glue it on, and I'd make that side into a pocket with this. But it's not the colour I would choose, or I would use that. And it's giving you a really good base. This is one of those napkins again, but I don't wish to use that because I'm going to use that for something else. So what I would do once, we'll just pretend we've already got our fabric, other piece of fabric down. You might decide you want to do a strap, or you might leave it and do a what I call, just gonna neaten this up because I might forget to. So I always neaten up before I put the next piece down, but don't overtake stuff off. Now, if you're really worried about putting the next piece of fabric, what you can do, you can get your sewing machine and do a straight line all the way across, but do the inside part first. So you do it on the inside, and then you come along after you've done the inside and you stick this piece of fabric down, and then you zigzag all the way around and you'll have a perfect cover. That's the simplest way I know how to teach you. But for this to stick down properly, I need the iron. So you can do this cover, you can actually use grommets. So you put a hole there and a hole there, and utilize your grommets to put your ribbon in. So you can use ribbon like I did. In this journal, I used one grommet. This is not done. This is just a basic journal, and I've done nothing to it. It's supposed to be a daily, and I don't get time to use it. And you can wrap it that way, or you can bring it for whatever you want. These are basic covers. This is a basic cover with a difference though, because this has got a spine. So here's one I actually did, and what I did before I attached this fabric to it, and you can see the spine. We've got that spine. What I did, and I attached one of those Mod Podge, not the Mod Podge one, the Glad Wrap. One of these. That's what I've attached in here. And that's given me a cover. But before I sewed this down, I attached this to the inside of my cover. I just ripped the top of it off and then sewed in and brought this top piece, which is that, over the back of it, and that will come around and wrap around this way. So this is my cover. This is our signature. And now you're wondering how we're going to sew it all in and put it all together. And it fits perfectly. Now, I haven't decorated it because we're not going to decorate it in this one, because I don't know quite what to do yet, because this is utilizing the stuff you've got at home. So if you've got any clothing, things you don't use no more, old lace, curtains, if you haven't, go thrifting. That's where I get everything from. This fabric's from the thrift store, and I love it. It's old vintage fabric. And the only place you're going to find that sort of stuff is from a thrift store, from old clothing, from old curtains. So I'm just going to trim this cotton a little bit because I like seeing it hanging. And now we're going to think about making holes and doing our signature, sewing it in. So what I'll do, I'll show you how I do that too. Give me 2 seconds. Now, you can use a scoreboard or you can do it this way. This is the length of my journal, which is what you need in paper. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some away because I don't need it all. And what we're going to do, we're going to fold it. Because we need a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. And the reason why is because we added those extra so this is where I need my scoreboard, my scoring tool. And then I'm going to take this inwards. And I'm going to take that inwards. Oops. Oops. So that gives you 3. So then you've got to halve it again. So we're making 1, 2, 3, 4. We're making 5-hole. So you can use the scoreboard or you can do it this way. So you're folding like that, you're folding like that, then you're folding inwards. And then all you do is you get your pen and you mark it. You mark it there, 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 and there. And that's where your holes are going to go. So we're going to mark our signature. Okay, and this is all I use. I get one of these books. This is all I use. And we're going to mark the signature. We're not going to mark the board yet. We're going to do the signature. And we're going to make sure it's all even, because we don't want it all over the place. And we're going to get this, and this should be marked top. And I would mark that as top. And see where we only used a black pencil because we want to be able to rub it off. And there you go, that's perfect. So you've made sure you can clip it. I don't normally use the clips. Now I've got to find my, there it is. And this is all I do. Is that in the center? I've got to make sure it's centered. I might have to turn the book this way. There. See how I've given myself a cradle? By using my book. Now you're going to make sure your paper is at the end. And you push it into the cradle you made with your book. And then you start stabbing. I'm heavy-handed with it because I know it's got to go in deep. Gee, I hope this works for me because sometimes the video takes a while. So I'm going to pull out some of these pages till I come to a plain page, because it mightn't have dug in deep enough and we want it to dig in deep. Now, please don't let go of that. That's got to stay even. And we're going to cradle that and see how we are even. Because you want to make sure the holes are through. Because you've got to remember we've got thick papers in there. because I've done some sewing and pockets and stuff like that. And this is the old-fashioned junkin. The only thing is I've sewn it all around it and done things like that. And you can do the same if you've got a sewing machine. If you haven't, you can actually glue them to the way I've done it. Yep, that's gone in. Now we'd be awfully gentle in picking that up. And there you go. And now what I do is we don't need the book no more. Just see how that made a good cradle? So always keep a book around to cradle your signature. Okay, now we've got to do the spine. And this is where you really, really make sure that nothing moves. So don't play with it too much or anything. I'll just find my sponge. And that's all I use is a sponge. And I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this. And my sponge. And now, because you want to see your centre of the signature, I line it. Oops, I didn't line that too up because the pencil's broken. Hang on a minute. So it's an 1/8 of an inch to the middle. It didn't give me a good... I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to re-roll that to get it properly. Because of the light in here, I can't really see properly. I normally do this in the lounge room. How many of us do that in the lounge room? Oops. It's the pencil's had it. That's why I'm having so much trouble. Okay. So you've marked it in the middle. You've put your little cushion underneath. And what you do next is you get this and you make sure you've got your top to your top. And you make sure you're even. Now, I'm just going to make sure I've got it right where I want it, which is, I've got to bring it down a little bit because it's got to be 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. So, I'll just make sure I've got it in enough. Yeah, so a hole goes there. A hole goes there, hole goes there. And you see I'm only putting holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm making sure that the holes are actually where they're supposed to be. And they are. See? 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 And see. So it's right in the centre. Okay, we get our sewing and thread, and what I normally use is wax paper. Wax thread, I mean. And I start from the top. And I hate doing signatures. I tell you, I reckon everybody does. But they are what produces beautiful journals. So we get it, we make sure it's all lined so it will all sew in, and it has, and we find where the hole is, which I can see it. If you can't see it, mark it with a texter. No, it's not even there. Ouch. There. Oops. We just got to remember to put that page in. Hang on a minute. What's happening here? No, it's not. See, that's why you need a texter, guys. So don't be foolish like me. Mark it with a texter. Because we don't want things to move. And it's there. And we bring it in. And take it through. And normally I take it through the cover first because I can see the hole. And again, I'll make sure it's together. And I lift it up. And why I use the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, you've seen what I did with the signature. I added tags in there. So we need it like that. Beautiful. It went right through. Normally I have so much trouble because I'm filming, but I haven't. Hallelujah. Because it's real stressful sewing signatures. It truly is. It's probably one of the hardest things till you get used to it. I hate filming while I'm doing it. Now I've got to make sure that this, and I leave that there, because I don't know if the hole's anywhere near there. Is it? And it is. So we've got to move it up, and it's obviously so it's there. Okay. So I'll spin that in first and take it through. And again, you might have to jiggle around. It's actually gone through. Take it through. And then you come up from here. I think the next one is, and that's where I'm looking for, is because if you're wrong, you'll step up. It's there. See how easy it really is? It's just when you're filming, you get nervous and you stuff up. You know, like a page might be out of whack, or because they move. And that's why if you've got clips, use your clips. I don't use them. I like doing things the hard way, believe it or not. Now, if it's not going in easy, I've got to just check and see why. That part is. Because it might have just moved a bit, you know. And that's what you look at. So I'm going to thread it through there. And then make sure it's together. And put the rest of it through. There you go. Part of it's through again. And now we've got to put this part in. Let's see how it's gone through. So sometimes you just got to fiddle around with it. That's all I do. Okay, so now I'm going to take it through there, and I've got to wiggle it around to do that. Because like I said, some of this is really thick, you know, like I've folded pages. You don't have to do that. I just decided to do that because that's what I like doing. I like being adventurous with my scrapping and, you know, creating extra tucks and stuff like that. It just makes for a nice journal, I believe. Now, if I can't get it through all at once, I will wriggle it around and just get a few pages in at a time. See, and this is why I do 5-hole. Because if you didn't have a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, these would not be stitched down. And that's what you've got to be mindful of when you're doing these types of signatures, you know, with tags and stuff like that. So that's really important. And now I've got to find the hole, which is there. And this is going to be a bit stressful because we've got to go back up. Okay, so you're going back up the signature. So back into there. Believe you me, this is painful because you're going through a part where you've already been, but sometimes things do move. So if it, you might have to loosen it a little bit again. And sometimes I do that. I just go underneath it and I just pull the thread so that I got a bit of give there. See, I've got a bit of give there, and then that way I can go through the hole where my cover went, and through my signature, and again I might have to feed it through because it is painful when you're trying to feed a signature in. I was doing so well too, but it doesn't always work that way. There you go, that part's through. Once you've gone and done this a few times, it does get easier, believe me. But like I said, I still have hassles. So if I still have hassles with sewing backwards and forwards, and the only reason I'm doing it this way is because I want to add character to my journal. We're back to basics, and we want it looking super duper neat, you know. The sewing adds character. If you had laces, that would add character. Beautiful. It went through, girls. It went through. It's just to push it through completely. So I just look for where the needle is, which is there, and pull it. And now we feed it through this one. And again, you might have to loosen it, you know, it just depends. I'm going to hope to not, but I honestly haven't got the strength I had a couple of years ago. So I'm going to have to pull that out a bit. So I'm going to have to pull that thread, and that's our top thread. So I can feed it through this slot. Because you remember, I did tabs, I did pockets. Because I'm showing you properly from the start. I just think it's best if I do. Beautiful. Tighten that. And now pull it all through. What's happened here? Oh no. And this can happen to you because wax thread does this. So you just fix it up and try to undo where it's gone, whatever. I shouldn't have done this, but it has. There. Oh. There you go. We're nearly done. We take it through. And this is going to be hard again for the simple fact we've got a tag up there. Remember that thick tag? So we're going to feed it through the hole, which is there. And like I said, we have got, I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And put it through first there. Bring it through. Take it through. And it's fed. And there you go. Now, this I take and put through here because we're going to tie off there. There you go. Now, what I normally do, I leave it fairly long because I like it long. And what I do, we go through and make sure that the signature is correctly in, which it is. I'm going to go through and check our book. Check there's no thread lying loosely. So you've got pockets. We're going to glue that down. We've got a tag. I'm going to punch holes in them. And we're going to come along here because this is back to basics and we're going to decorate this journal. We've already added character to it by sewing. We've got another tag there. We're going to learn how to decorate that. And this is basically chuck journaling the old way. Easy peasy peasy way. And see, I used fancy stitching. It just makes the journal. There's our centre. So we've got 1, well, we don't count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we've got 17 pages. Now what happens with this wraps around it and comes through like that. But in the next, back to basics, so what I do, because I know that's correct now, I get this and I loosely tie knots all the way down because I want this hanging because I'll be doing something to it. I don't know what, but this is what I normally do. And just keep tying the knots. I might hang a piece of jewellery on it. I might make a boho bead, whatever. you just got to remember we are using junk, but good junk, not rubbish, you know what I mean? Because you're not going to get a good journal out of rubbish. But this, using just tea stained pages and book pages, you are actually making quite a nice journal. And if you've got a sewing machine, all the merrier. If you haven't, well, you can basically do the same thing as I've done, but glue the stuff down. But how cool is that? You've got a tuck in there. And we're going to decorate this all by utilising book pages and our maps, book pages, and it looks good with the sewing, the book pages. I know it's missing. I forgot to put a music page in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need it. This is amples to produce a really nice journal. Not only that, look how creative we are. We've created a pocket. And look, we are very creative. We have created a pocket. Now, all I've done with my pages, there has been no cutting of paper. Because I left the length of my tea stain pages the same and I left my height the same. I just basically folded and created. And we'll try and decorate the cover. We'll try and do a number of things with this. But I love it. I think it turned out really good. But I hope this makes sense. A group I belong to, we're doing a magazine swap. And this is what I'm hoping they'd be capable of doing, which is what I'm trying to teach, junk and back to basics. I want it to be as simple as possible. Like and comment and subscribe if you think it is, if I kept it simple. If you look at my yesterday's tutorial, I've taken things back to basics again by, that can come undone, and this can be all nicely frayed. It looks good. I just haven't done it yet. And yeah, we'll take things back to basics, because that's what I want to do, is take things back to basics and basically teach you how to put a journal together the old-fashioned way. Put your taggies in. We can still decorate those and still add little embellishments to them. But it turned out quite good. It actually turned out really good. It fits in nicely on both sides. See why we added that bit of spine? Because we didn't want to. We didn't want to have this sort of squeezed like that. Because that's what would have happened. You would have had it like that. And it doesn't give you a spine. We've given each other 1/2 inch spine, which gives you a bit of spread, you know, and it's real good journal. You can put it in your bag, take it away with you, right up in it. It makes a good little traveller's note. You make pockets for it. We can do all sorts of things. But that's with the next video. Now, if you look back on this is the top. This is the top of my journal. So that goes like that. This is the front. So if you go back one video, you'll see how we made paper bags, because that's ideal for this journal, learning how to make paper bags. I don't know if I did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but if you Google it, someone will have it there. And it'd be the same as what we did there, except what you do is you just fold and fold again to get your 3rd hole. And you don't worry about those, that hole and that hole. And you just start in the middle, so you thread in, go down, bring it back through. Actually, no, you don't. You go, start off again. Start at the middle. Sew into your signature. Bring it into this hole. Take it all the way to there. Right, you don't go in the center. Take it out. Bring it in the middle. And you normally, and I'm sure I done a video the other day. I actually did. And then what you do is you make sure that your cotton is in between that long thread there. You tightened it that way, make sure it's nothing loose, and tie it up. And that's your 3 hole without using those 2 holes. So it's really basically easy. You're just basically folding paper. And there, and it gives you 3 hole pamphlet stitch. But I prefer folding realistically as that way. You know, first that way, then that way, then that way. And then again folding inwards. Otherwise you're going to end up with a crooked book, and you don't want that. So make sure that is evenly cut straight, because I didn't. But I've eyeballed it, and to me that looks quite fine. That's quite a nice journal actually, and we can start decorating and playing to our heart's content in the next video. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, and that is embellishing, decorating, and all that sort of stuff. Now, go thrifting, find lovely lace pieces of curtains, get them dyed with tea and coffee stain. If you go in my YouTube channel, you'll see where I've thrifted, where I've stained pages, where I've stained fabric, ribbon, you name it. I think I've done it, well, I know I've done it correctly. It's whether I've said it correctly. Look, English is not my first language, but thank you for watching everyone. Bye for now. See you next time.